Hey guys, welcome back to Heiko Shaves. So right out of the gate, let me apologize. I'm sounding a little nasally, so I might have a little bit of a cold going here. Today we're gonna revisit a great razor. It's a popular razor among a lot of you guys and a lot of YouTube shavers. And I shaved with this. There's a video out which I'm gonna link up here. A long time ago already, long time, right? But like right in the beginning of my new shaving channel. And the razor I'm talking about here, let me take the packaging out of the way, is the Rockwell 6S. The Rockwell 6S, S stands for stainless. They also have a Rockwell 6C, which is a little cheaper. I think the 6C is around 80 bucks. This one is about a $120 razor. It is considered an adjustable, but it's not adjustable in the traditional sense of the word. So you don't have a knob where you turn and suddenly the adjustment changes. This is the one where you have to take it apart. And then you have 3 plates like this one. And they can be used both directions here. So on one side it says R1, the next side says R3. And then there is an R2 and R4 and an R5 and an R6. And whatever number you can read when the razor is assembled is the setting that you are at. We used it a while ago and I was still very young, very impressionable. I was following, my YouTube shaving idols and they were all using this at setting 6. It was way too aggressive for me. I wasn't happy with it, so I put it back in the box and I haven't used it since. But now I have gained more experience. I have my routine down more or less and I want to revisit this. And I have a function to attend tonight. This is only a 1-day growth. I just had a little cardboard card here. Oh, here we go. Right under the box. There's definitely something there that we can shave off. This usually goes pretty quickly. So every day I look, 5 o'clock shadow kind of deal. So I have it set to R1. I want to start out really mild. I already have Proraso pre-shave on my face. My favorite badger has already been soaking here in the sink, so we are literally good to go. But before we start out, let me weigh this thing. So with a R1, R3 plate and a blade in it, it's 118 grams. Of course, it's a Wilkinson sword. Why would you even ask? So we're gonna go right into my Proraso green, pick up some soap and start the lathering. And then we're gonna start shaving and we're gonna see if my impressions of the 6S, now that we're having this new approach, we're looking for this daily drivable, daily shaveable razor that's mild, gentle on the skin, but efficient enough to give us a smooth shave. And we're gonna check out how this goes here. All right, this should be enough. Let's get some water here. And let's get it into the face. Yeah, with this badger brush, this is still my only badger brush. I think I have a boar brush, like a total cheapo. This one here doesn't even have the typical badger animal smell anymore. I've used it enough now that it's opened up really nicely. It's softened out a little bit. It's much softer now than it was in the very beginning. And it really lends itself for a good lather. It really gets it going quick. Like that. All right. So Rockwell 6S, like I said, there is a cheaper version, the 6C, and some people actually prefer it because this is kind of a bead blasted, not so slick surface. The 6C you get in different colors, chrome plated, in gunmetal gray, and some other stuff. We have the stainless steel. I like stainless steel. It's like, the longevity of stainless steel is just much higher. You can put this at the bottom of the ocean. It would probably survive 100 years. All right, let's get the shave going. My wound here from my leaf twig has healed mostly, I think. So we're gonna get going here with a grain. I can hear a little bit of blade engagement, but it's not taking off anything. So at number 1, I don't think it's really doing much. This is really mild. Let us look at it real quick. I don't know if you guys can see, but the blade gap is pretty much non-existent. So I would say we at least need to switch to a number 2 plate, which I'm going to do right now. Fairly easy, just undo the handle, blade and the top cap are in my hand. And then in the box here, there are the other 2 plates. Here's R2. We're gonna put that on here, tighten it up again, and we're already ready to go. Just make sure it doesn't slip out of your fingers. Seems to be a little bit larger blade gap now, just ever so slightly more. Let's see, get it wet. A little more. Yeah. Considering that I really only have one day growth on my face, it's not really taking off much, not even at 2. So I have heard that a lot of guys say that in 1 and 2, it's pretty much not shaving much at all. And so they always just jump to number 3, which we're gonna do right now. This is R3 now. Let's follow the advice. We'll see if we're gonna regret it. Let's grab it with a towel. I don't wanna slip off, tighten it down. So now I can actually see a little bit of some blade gap here. Blade exposure, this is still negative. So if you would put a straight edge on here from the top cap to the guard or to the comb, the blade is still not protruding. But we have a larger blade gap and we're just gonna keep going. So on number 3, we're still plenty mild enough, but maybe we gained a little bit of some efficiency. That's the point. We want mild and gentle, but efficient enough so we can actually get smooth. That's the whole deal here. So I didn't rinse off, as you just saw. I wanted to leave the residual leftovers of the soap on here and just add a new fresh layer on top of it. Get some water. Just like that. This Badger is really a wonderful, wonderful shaving brush. I did not think, I was so focused on synthetic in the beginning, and there are still some great synthetic brushes, don't get me wrong, that actually have enough backbone and that get a good lather going, but I'm really a fan now of Badger, of this one in particular. I guess because I made it myself out of an old handle. All right, now we're gonna do a second pass with number 3. This is plenty mild enough at number 3. So at an R3 plate, it's very similar to the Edwin Jagger DE89. Very similar, because the DE89 don't take it to be a wimpy little mild razor. It's not a slouch. This one here is also really hefty with 118 grams. So you can, you know, just rely on its own weight and not press down at all. Oh yeah, this is much better now. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you might be wondering, why is he not using his fine soap or Mountain Man from Sterling soap that I have sitting around here, and he's still jumping to Proraso Green? Besides Proraso Green being my favorite, it's so far also the only one that my wife likes. So Barber Blue from Fine Shaving is a fine soap and a fine aftershave, but my wife doesn't like it. And since I'm going out with my wife tonight, I don't want to upset her. You know, happy wife, happy life. Very good. So this razor with a 3 plate on it, I think is the golden middle ground. It's not too efficient and too aggressive, but it is efficient enough to actually make it happen. So, and we're gonna put a 3rd layer on here, and we're gonna do an against the grain, and I think we're gonna be just fine. All right, just more or less a wipe off, not a wash off. And we're gonna get the razor wet again. Oh, maybe we should put some lather on first, huh? All right, lathering. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. Very good. And it's always a good sign when the soap doesn't taste bad. You know, if it has a very chemically strong taste, then you know there's all kinds of bad stuff in there. Proraso has absolutely no taste. All right, R3 still against the grain. Oh yeah, it makes noise. And we're of course not going to do that on my upper lip. We already did that sufficiently. All right, and then this side. Very good. This one also does a pretty good job. I mean, once you find your setting, it does a pretty decent job of getting rid of the lather, so it doesn't clog up. It shoves it through the gap. All right. Little nasally. Not so good. Okay, now we're gonna go against the grain. Maximum stretch engaged. No problem. Very good. So I can't really say much negative about the slickness factor of this razor. So I've read and heard that some people have an issue with the speed blasted kind of draggy feel of the surface. I don't feel like this right now, at least. Maybe it has to do with the soap that they use. I could imagine if I would do a straight 6C versus 6S comparison with maybe a chromed or gunmetal plated surface, that it might feel a little slicker, but consider this in a vacuum with no other comparison. This is just a fine razor. This is perfectly fine. So it feels good. I think we found our setting, and I think this is what this is meant to do. You are getting 6 different settings with this razor, and once you found yours, you stick with one. I know that some people switch it around. They start with a 6 to get the scruffy stuff off and then they switch to a 3 or something like this. But I don't think this is really meant to do that. This is more like you buy this as a set and then you can figure out, okay, am I a mild kind of guy or a, you know, aggressive kind of guy when it comes to my razors. And I think this is pretty good. So again, we have a little bit blade overhang, which is not a big deal, but you know, a little bit different design, like a rounded off. Some razors actually have that. You can hide the end of the blade completely and then round off the edges. Here on this one is really not that bad. They're at least not sharp. And it's stainless steel, so if I really feel strongly about it, I can take it down to my shop and get rid of those edges like in seconds. But we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep it original, you know, collector's items and such. But this was pretty good and I don't think I'm bleeding anywhere. So let's rinse this off. I can tell you that alum is not needed. After watching a video from my friend Jörg over at Glatt-Rasiert, which is a German shave channel, he explains the whole controversy about aluminum in deodorants, why you shouldn't put aluminum on your skin and absorption and the link to cancer and the link to Alzheimer's and such. This is, the alum block is an aluminium, now I'm speaking German, aluminum salt, which, you know, absorbed into your bloodstream is not going to be good for you. There is then studies going on whether or not a freshly shaved skin absorbs more aluminum than a non-shaved skin, if you should be using aluminum as a deodorant under your arms and all that stuff. He explains it really so well, and then it ultimately comes down to how much risk you want to take. I will continue to use alum blocks, absolutely, because it serves a purpose. If I'm bleeding out of my face, it sucks that together and stops the bleeding, just like the Styptic pencil or other products. Peraso makes that in gel form that also contains some aluminum. I will try that out, by the way. I just ordered that. But I will still continue to use alum whenever there is some open bleeding going on. But if there isn't any reason for it, like my skin is perfectly happy, even my neck section here, we're perfectly smooth. This is a smooth shave. And there's no irritation going on. So there's absolutely no reason to use alum, right? So that's at least my take on it. I really appreciate the video that Jörg made. Hey, if you're watching, thanks again for doing that. I wish I could explain stuff like this so eloquently as you did. If you guys want to check out his channel, it's all in German though. So if you don't speak any German, good luck, I would say. Maybe he has subtitle in English. I don't know. But yeah, so that's that. I just use my Peraso green aftershave. And then once that is you know, evaporate a little bit, we're going to add some Peraso green. Balsamo dopo barba refrescante. And then it's like this really cool signature underneath. That must be Mr. Ludovico Mate. I have no idea. Anywho, good stuff. So I will put that on in a minute or so. You guys don't have to watch that. My skin is happy. The 6S is a really good razor and I like the heft of it and the quality, you know, stainless steel and all that. And that we could actually find a setting that we are happy with, or I'm happy with. If you want to try this out and you maybe don't want to buy the whole set, you could go with a 6C, which is about an $80 razor, or you can go with a 2C, which only comes with one plate, one bottom plate, one of those. And it happens to be the number 1 and 3. So right now we're at 3. If I flip this around, is a 1. So it would be exactly like this razor. It comes with a handle, the top, and one plate. And then you can even choose your color. The 2C is the one that's plated, made out of some pot metal, Zamac, or I don't know exactly. Maybe there's some brass in there too. But you can pick your color and you get one plate, the number 1 and the number 3. So, and I think if I'm not completely mistaken, that is a $40 razor. So you could get this razor for $40 and be happy. So you can try out number 1. And if that's not aggressive enough or efficient enough, you flop it around and it's a number 3. And then the cool thing is that if later in life you decide, okay, I would like to try out the 2 and 4, maybe to add a little bit more efficiency, you can buy those plates individually. So you can start out with a 2C and then build it up to a 4C. And if you go all crazy, you can still get the other 2 missing plates and make it a 6C. Or just spend $80 and get the whole set. Or $120 for this. I think I only spent $80 on eBay for this. So if you look around, and this one was brand new, I think I spent $80 or $89 for this thing. But on the Rockwell webpage, it's a $120 razor. All right, I like it. And I don't even know how many razors I have in my daily rotation now. So I have the Twig for sure, even though it injured me. I still like it. My 34C is hanging here. I have one of my 2 Progresses. I'm gonna do a comparison between long handle and short handle. If you guys are interested, let me know. And I have a few others sitting here. By the way, the DE5, pretty good. DE5 by Fine, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. So that's also in my daily rotation. All the other ones are just lingering here. But yeah, this is back on my list. I like it. It's not gonna go back in the drawer. Something else is gonna disappear. Alrighty guys, that's it. Thanks for comments, subscribing, and your thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.